All right, y'all, we are back with another video and Say It Ain't So. How do CNN keep allowing Vivek to come on and all he do is humiliate them every single time? And the thing about Abby, like she won't even let you talk sometimes. Like at the point like when Vivek be trying to make points, it seems like that he always get cuts off. Like as soon as he start making his point, they try to cut him off. And I can't stand when CNN do that because they do not want to hear facts. Because like I said, we remember one time when Vivek was saying that he felt like it was a Fed inside job. We all know about the J6 situation, how they sit up there and lied. And I can't see how Nancy Pelosi ain't locked up. Why is she locked up? Why? She should be locked up. She even had her daughter in there with a camera crew and stuff. So I definitely want to check this out right here. And this one here is coming from Benny. Shout out to Benny. I will leave the original video in the description. He says CNN just had an on-air panic attack as Vivek flipped script on January 6th by saying it was a Fed inside job and the audience roars. They go off. So we definitely going to check this out. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. Everybody been leaving positive comments in the comment section. I also want to thank everybody that clicked on this video for the very first time. I appreciate y'all as well. Like I said, shout out to the one that always watches the entire video, because when you do that, YouTube will share my reaction, and that right there is what helped the channel grow. So I appreciate everybody that always watches to the end, and shout out to everybody that always come in and hit that like button. So if you're watching me now, make sure you go down there and hit that like button. That really, really helps out as well. Without further ado, let's dive straight to it.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Benny. Hey, just a second here. I need to do a quick call. 911. Yeah. Hey, officer, I'd like to report a murder. Nope, not at the federal lockup with Hillary Clinton. No, not at Barack Obama's mansion in Martha's Vineyard. No, we're talking about a murder that happened live on CNN. Yeah, gonna need you to go right now. It's a bloodbath. Ladies and gentlemen, last night on CNN, Vivek Ramaswamy was asked about January 6th, saying it was an inside job by the feds. And hot damn, did it go down. Ladies and gentlemen, Vivek Ramaswamy quickly becoming one of the most important voices in America, says Brandon Straka. I could watch Vivek Ramaswamy throwing facts on CNN over and over again. Vivek Ramaswamy shuts down CNN and Abby Phillips as she tries to interrupt him for 3 minutes straight while he calls out the government for framing January 6ers. And on the establishment does not approve of this message. And on why didn't CNN allow Vivek to speak and immediately cut him off when he suggested that there have been so many federal agents at the Capitol ground. And on CNN won't let up on January 6th. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Cass saying this is flames. What happened yesterday and what was the setup? The setup was that during the last debate, Vivek Ramaswamy said that January 6th was an inside job. Have a listen.
3 of my other colleagues on this debate stage is all 3 of them have been licking Donald Trump's boots for years for money and endorsements. Ron DeSantis, you've been a great governor, but you would have never been one without actually begging Donald Trump for that endorsement.
And you attacked him in your book a year ago.
Same thing with Chris Christie as a lobbyist, begging them for COVID money for his special interests in New Jersey, prepping him for the debates last time around. These people are now Monday morning quarterbacking some decision he made. I think the real enemy is not Donald Trump. It's not even Joe Biden. It is the deep state that at least Donald Trump attempted to take on. And if you want somebody who's going to speak truth to power, then vote for somebody who's going to speak the truth to you. Why am I the only person on the stage, at least, who can say that January 6th now does look like it was an inside job? That the government lied to us for 20 years about Saudi Arabia.
Listen to that applause line. Okay, so on stage during a CNN town hall, Vivek was asked, what do you think about January 6th? Vivek Ramaswamy spars with Abby Phillips over January 6th at town hall. Now, here we go. The thing that CNN will not allow is truth on their network. And so they interrupted Vivek every time he tried to make a point. Nonetheless, he defeated soundly Abby Phillips, even while she was screaming, crying, seething, and sniping at him. Watch this.
About something that you said at the debate last week. You used the phrase inside job to describe what happened on January 6th. The next day, Capitol rioter Alan Hosteler highlighted your comments at his sentencing. He is going to prison for 11 years. Hostetter threatened members of Congress.
How embarrassing that you're like reading this question off a note card. Like, do you not?
Crazy.
There's no. I see no note cards for Vivek. You have to sit there and like have your giant prompts. How unbelievably unprepared, unprofessional, and unimpressive these people are.
He brought a hatchet, knives, pepper spray, stun batons, tactical gear to the U.S. Capitol. Are you concerned that a convicted felon like that is now promoting your comments in court?
So here's my concern, Abby. And I want to tell you guys where I'm at. If you had told me, it's close to 3 years ago that January 6, 2021 happened. If you had told me 3 years ago, back when I was a biotech CEO, not steeped in this world, I was just consuming passive media, but was focused on my world of developing medicines. If you had told me that January 6 was in any way an inside job, the subject of government entrapment, I would have told you that was crazy talk. Fringe conspiracy theory nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you now, having gone somewhat deep in this, it's not. I mean, the reality is this. We do have a government, first of all, we have to acknowledge, that has lied to us systematically over the last several years about the origin of COVID-19, about the Hunter Biden laptop that we were told was false by 51 CIA experts and otherwise before we now know that it was true. You can go straight down the list, the Trump-Russia disinformation collusion hoax, all of it. Now we come to January 6th. The reality is we know that there were federal law enforcement agents in that field. We don't know how many. I think it's shameful. If I may finish just answering.
Well, let me
this
just.
is really
I'm going to go ahead and interrupt you here because
I know the establishment doesn't approve of this message. I know
that there were federal agents. You're saying that there were federal agents.
This is important to talk about.
You are saying there were federal agents in the crowd on January 6th.
Yep.
There is no evidence that there were federal agents in the crowd on January 6th.
So why, before Congress, when pressed on what the number was, they didn't say there were none? They just couldn't say how many there were.
So you're saying that that you have not seen any evidence that there were.
So we've seen multiple informants suggesting that there were. We know people were FBI informants who were asked to
Is there any evidence?
May I just finish this and you can come back and question me?
Let me clarify.
I know this is very uncomfortable for you.
I'm going to clarify my question.
I know this is an uncomfortable issue for many people, but we have to do the truth here.
I'm going to clarify my question because I want to make sure that you understand what I'm asking.
I understand this deeply. And I told you, I was with you 3 years ago. I'm not there now.
Where is the evidence?
Yes.
Where is the evidence that the government had a plot, an inside job?
But no, I'm going to tell you what an inside job is, because I'm not
violence on January 6th.
I'm not going to let you put words in my mouth. I'm going to put my words in my mouth. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that.
Where is the evidence that the government was involved
in
planning or executing January 6th?
So I'm going to give you hard facts. And if I may, Abby, I know this is going to be a little uncomfortable, but we're going to go through this, and you can push back on it after that. And you can push back on that. And let's do this fairly. Why did they suppress footage of now what's been released, 200 hours of footage of shooting rubber bullets into that crowd, shooting tear gas into that crowd? You didn't see that before. You saw what the response was to that. Now you see footage coming out of actually rolling out the red carpet for Capitol Police allowing people in.
Again,
right through the front door.
The vast majority of the footage
evidence should have been released before, Abby.
Mr. Ramaswamy, the vast majority of the footage shows
and my deeper
police officers.
I have to stop here. My blood is boiling.
Yeah, because at that point, like, the man, like, here's the thing what Abby does. She does this all the time. It's like she do not want to hear facts. She do not want to hear facts. The man can't even complete a sentence without her, sir, Mr. Ramaswamy, sir, I'm not going to let you do that, sir. Like, golly, how can you ask a person a question and not let them respond? He's trying to respond and give an answer, and as soon as he starts spitting facts, you want to cut him off. I'm pretty sure y'all called him to interview it for him to come and speak and for you to ask him questions. How do he feel comfortable that you asking him questions, he trying to answer, and yet you're constantly cutting him off? You're cutting him off every time, and this ain't the first time she's done this. Abby does this all the time. They do not let this man finish speaking, just constantly cutting him off. He like, please, hold on, I need to get this out. How can he answer your next question when he's still on your recent question that you just asked him? He's trying to answer that. And soon as he's trying to break it down, and you even got people from CNN in the crowd cheering to what he's saying. I don't know why she constantly do this.
I'm sorry. I haven't had my coffee yet this morning. I have to stop here and just show you. This should have been the response. There's undercover body camera footage from federal police force. This is the Metropolitan Police Department here in the federal city of Washington, D.C. So this is the feds saying that people need to go into the Capitol. Help them up, help them up, help them get into the building. This is the footage.
Yep.
This is the evidence. All right? I love Vivek. This is the evidence. CNN's never played you this evidence. This evidence was revealed in court after the government was sued. An undercover officer encouraging violent and illegal behavior, or at the very least, the kind of behavior that they prosecuted people for. That's why Nancy Pelosi said, I've been waiting for this, trespassing at the Capitol. Okay, anyway, back to it.
Overrun
and I want to talk about one more
by
case.
violent
this is really important.
Rioters. That's
I'm going to give you some hard facts.
Of it shows.
So here's what entrapment is.
Cherry pick.
I'm not cherry picking. If I may finish, Abby. If I may finish, Abby. I'm not cherry picking.
Examples.
To the contrary. To the contrary. You know who cherry picked? You know who cherry picked? The government.
That is what happened.
The government cherry picked 12 hours of footage when there was 200 hours of footage. So cherry picking was the government, not me. Release the whole thing. And let me just finish one thing too, because this is super important as a topic.
So I
think this is a civil libertarian issue of our time.
When
Gretchen Whitmer's kidnapping. I want to keep it.
God, she is so annoying, bro. Golly. The man can't even talk. Sir. Like, Jesus Christ, bro. And I'm pretty sure that pisses Vivek them off, and I know he got to be professional and just not yell back and just stand there. But man, it is super annoying for you trying to make a statement and all you hear is, sir, I'm not gonna let you do that. Hold on, let me ask you this.
Really clear on this, because it's the same issue in the same FBI, same even part of the FBI. 3 people who were in an alleged plot to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer were acquitted at the end of trial because it was entrapment. That is, government agents put them up to do something they otherwise wouldn't have done. They gave them credit cards with spending limits of up to $5,000, encouraged them to buy munitions, plan something they weren't otherwise willing to plan. So much so, and I want people at home to know this, especially CNN viewers to know this, is that one of the jurors went to those defendants and apologized afterwards, gave him a hug, apologized, seeing what the government had put a poor guy up to who had to go to some Mexican restaurant across the street to get hot water. These people were exploited with credit cards up to $5,000, FBI agents putting them up to a kidnapping plot that we were told was true but was entrapment. Same thing with the Capitol Police, people letting them in freely. Many of those people are
Mr. Ramaswamy, look.
The government cannot put you up to do something and then charge you for it. That's wrong.
I don't want to have
to. Wrong to the left or the right.
I don't want to have to interrupt you. I really don't. But I don't want you to mislead the audience here or at home.
I don't want to have to interrupt you.
Mainstream media.
I don't have to interrupt you, but I will interrupt you. How about this clip of Nancy Pelosi saying it was an inside job?
That one of the debaters said it was an inside job. Is an inside job on the part of Donald Trump and his henchmen in the Congress of the United States.
They don't know what to do now that all their lies are coming collapsing down. Ladies and gentlemen, we asked Tucker Carlson on a recent space about his reporting from January 6th. He was the first guy through the wall to break the narrative on this. Tucker Carlson saying it became obvious to him that there was the preponderance of data to show that there were federal agents inside of the audience, the inability of our federal law enforcement officials to answer simple questions about this, and of course, the people who were in charge that day, Stephen Sund of the Capitol Hill Police, saying, yeah, the place was teeming with federal agents. Why did the people who were breaking windows? Why did people have earpieces in the breach teams? Who were on those earpieces? Somebody explain that. Somebody, please, calmly, quietly, and quickly explain that to me. Ladies and gentlemen, Tucker Carlson, take us away. Tucker, you were the first one out through the wall with tapes that had not been seen of January 6th. If you're speaking about government lies and you're speaking about half-truths or total fabrications told by the government, it seems like you are utterly vindicated now in your reporting based on the preponderance of evidence. I mean, I see that Jacob Chansley is listening in to this live. A good example of that is you completely retold the story of Jacob Chansley, right? Known as the MAGA shaman, Buffalo Horn guy, right? You completely flipped the script, broke the narrative. on that. Your thoughts on, as the man with the first access, the first reporter to see the January 6th tapes, what are your thoughts on the leaks that have been coming out now?
Well, first, I loved your interview with Chansley, who is just, the people they tell us are the worst are often some of the sweetest and the best. And he's definitely in that category based on your interview with him, I thought. So thank you for that. But because everything is a total inversion, our heroes are actually like the worst people and the most reviled are actually the kindest, of course. But yeah, I mean, I guess I feel vindicated. I've taken no pleasure in that. It's interesting, though. It wasn't reporting that got me to that. It was instinct. I mean, and I will say my instincts, and I think all of our instincts are undefeated. Your instincts don't lie to you. Your instincts are not trying to sell you a product or spin you. Your instincts are only there to tell you the truth. So if you pay close attention to them and if you figure out a system for, pointing you in the right direction, and my system is really simple. Whatever they're hysterical about is something they're lying about, because why are they hysterical? If I'm not lying, I'm not hysterical. Why would I be hysterical? I've got nothing to hide. Like, you don't believe me? Okay, fine. I'm telling the truth. But if I start screaming at you and calling you a Nazi when you ask me a question, I'm probably hiding something. And that was the guide I used on the COVID vaccine and on January 6th. I had no reason to believe there was anything weird about January 6th. I wasn't paying very close attention, to be honest with you. And then within hours, they were telling me it was a white supremacist insurrection. And like, that's the one thing I knew that it wasn't. And so I was like, well, why are they telling me that? And then they kept telling me that. It wasn't just a momentary surge of hysteria. It was a narrative they were creating. And then I was like, oh, wow, you're hiding something really, really dark. And it turned out to be hundreds of federal agents in disguise in the crowd. And of course, it was a setup, just as I began to suspect it was. But anyway, that's how I got there. I was the only reporter to see those tapes because I was the only, really one of the few who was interested. I mean, we asked. That's kind of how we got them. Just asked, like, call the new speaker. Like, you have these tapes, thousands of hours. Why can't we see them? And of course, they didn't want to give them up, but they did. And they showed kind of what you suspected. They were vandals outside. People broke windows. I'm opposed to that. People, it's a big crowd. They pushed in. Some of them, did violent things, pretty low grade, by the way, violence, but whatever they did, bad, won't defend it. But most of them were just like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm in the Capitol. And they wandered around. And then the cops led them in to various rooms within the Capitol, including the Senate chamber. Now, that was the point at which, and it's on video, they opened the door for Chansley. They show him where it is and let him in. And then he says to one of the cops, like, can I say a prayer for you? And I'm like, this is so different from everything I've been told that it's bewildering. And moreover, why are they letting him into the Senate chamber? Why wouldn't they say, hey, pal, you can't be here, like, scoot, get out of here, you get arrested, which is what cops would do. But no, they led him there. And then I'm like, well, I'd like to talk to those cops, but of course you can't because you're not allowed to know anything because it's a national security matter. And then I was like, this looks very much like a setup to me. I mean, what else is it? And of course, the second I said that, or suggested, I didn't even say it, I suggested it, a bunch of people from on-air people I worked with quit in outrage, moral outrage. They were just so shocked. That Jonah kid and that dumb guy who was his partner or whatever, Hayes, and they're like, oh, we just can't, this is so unbearable, And it was like, why are you so mad that I suggested that? Like, if you disagree, tell me why. We can have a reasonable, no, we're quitting because it's a moral crime that you ask the question. As soon as people say it's a moral crime for you to ask a question, any question about anything, then they're the ones committing the moral crime 100% of the time. So yeah, that was my guide. And yeah, of course, it turned out to be true.
Wow. Boy, Tucker done unlocked a pack right there, boy. He unlocked a pack of stuff. Everybody know it was a setup and all that. And that's the reason why I said I can't see how Nancy Pelosi then got away with this stuff. I really just can't see how she ain't arrested. Why she ain't been in nobody's courtroom yet, because she needs to be in somebody's courtroom. And like I said, where Vivek said it was an inside job. We even seen the video where officers was letting the people in there. They was letting the people in the building peacefully. While all the cops just sat there and watched everybody come in. So, and you know what I'm saying? So they just been lying the whole time just to try to take down Donald Trump. That's what this all about. Just to take down Donald Trump, they just would sit there and lie. And then Nancy Pelosi and her daughter, them walking around with a documentary crew, whoever they want to call themselves, with a camera crew. So it's like, come on. Even I remember the video that I had watched. I think Benny had showed it where you can hear officers saying, man, they set us up. They set us up. You can hear the officers saying that. So I just don't get it. So like I said before, man, shout out to Benny, shout out to Tucker Carlson for always exposing them. And shout out to Vivek, because I can't see how CNN keep letting Vivek come on, because he keep just making them look bad. And of course they gonna keep using Abby to cut him off every time he tries to sit up there and make a statement. They try to cut him off every single time. So once again, shout out to Vivek, man. Hopefully I will be trying to probably get Vivek on the channel. So that's what I'm working on right now, man. You know, interview Vivek, ask him some questions and stuff like that. Love what the man been doing. He just been absolutely going off on the GOP debates. He go to CNN, he tear it up over there. He even had the crowd cheering. And see, that's the thing though. She talking about, I don't want you to mislead the crowd. How is he misleading the crowd? We seen the video. What was the insurrection? We seen the video how people were peacefully coming in the building. How the officer has one guy arrested and then he shook his hand afterwards. So it's like all this was just a setup. Just to lie on Donald Trump. But man, this is crazy. But like I said, y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about all this. Shout out to everybody, especially the ones that made it to the end of the video. I really, really appreciate it. Like I said before, I will leave the original video in the description. Make sure y'all go show Benny some love. Once again, thank you all, and I'll see y'all in the next one.